Who's requesting to join? Solo. Solo, if you send a gift, I'll let you join. Six roses. Okay, I'll let you in for 6 seconds. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Uh, so.
So
Um,
so.
I
Solo
was
being
actually,
well.
I was actually kind of, I almost came up to one of your lives once when you were talking about, um, like not
Animals.
eating. Yeah, yeah. And I didn't do
So,
it.
how do you feel about humans exploiting animals?
Well, I guess it's been sort of an evolution, right? Um, when I was growing up, it was so common that you didn't really stop and think about it. And as I've gotten older, when someone actually pointed out that there's that these are beings as well, I started to rethink it. And some of my favorite philosophers, at least of the current day, um, are vegan. They don't eat meat for that very reason because there's a moral problem with it. And so I've been rethinking it. And
Okay. Do you think that we should be respecting animals?
yeah, I do. Um, like for instance, I
And
own two
can we
cats.
respect, yeah, but can we respect somebody if we are exploiting them? If we're
No,
using them.
right? No, you can't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so veganism is the ethical principle against humans exploiting other animals.
right.
So vegans don't take their body parts or their breast milk or their eggs or ride them or go to zoos, just don't exploit them. It's about like respecting them as an individual instead of viewing them as a resource for us to use and take from,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And so since you say that we should respect animals, you know, like when you decide to go vegan, then you won't be living in hypocrisy, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. And what's interesting about this is that it wasn't anything to do with like TikTok or talking to some other person that made me think of this. It was actually going to eat pizza one day that made me think of this. So I'm a middle school teacher, and I had a pretty lengthy break one day, and I live in a place where there's this place where they make a really nice pizza, and so I went there just for break, and I ordered this pizza that had like blue cheese crumbles, and it also had like a honey drizzle, which was kind of weird, but I was trying something new, and I kept getting pestered by this bee who wouldn't leave my table, and I kept swatting at it. And I mentioned it to the waiter, and the waiter just sort of laughed and said, "Yeah, he likes the honey." And I was like, "Yeah, well." At the time, I didn't really care, and at the end, I got so frustrated with the bee that I actually ended up killing it with the glass of water that I'd been drinking. It landed on the plate to eat some of the honey, and I smashed it. And I got up and I looked at it sitting there, and for some reason, I just I heard the words of the waiter saying he likes the honey. And I started to get teary-eyed and I started to feel bad. And I was like, well, because I like the honey too. So what was the difference between me and the bee? You know, I mean, I like the honey, it liked the honey. We're both beings that didn't create ourselves, and I felt bad. And so I
Yeah,
walked
but it
away feeling
belongs to
bad.
the bee. Honey belongs to bees.
Yeah.
That's their product. And like when we make honey and produce honey, we're enslaving the bees. We're making them the honey slaves.
Yeah.
So of course, yeah, vegans also don't eat honey, but like if can you picture yourself in the animal's position, like the victim's position?
Yeah.
And like, if you were them, how soon would you want people like yourself to change for you?
It's a good question. And so the only thing that I worry about, of course, is, I'm totally fine with making the change that I need in order to um, preserve the life forms of others and not take advantage of them. But then I'm also worried about my own, right? And so if there is a way that I can, live and be healthy without having to do that, then those are the things that I need, right? And so I
Yeah,
mean,
well, my friend, I'm happy to inform you that you absolutely can. I've
yeah,
been vegan almost 10 years. Like, the largest group of dietetics on the planet has confirmed that everybody can be on a plant-based diet at every stage of life and be perfectly healthy. And
yeah,
you have a smartphone. Like, you can just look up any doubts or any questions that you have, you can just look up because you have the chance, like, you have the choice, the option. The animals don't. You're in the position of power here. So, yeah, like, do you feel like there's anything stopping you from going vegan?
so stopping me now, I guess
Okay.
it's
And
just um we're all victims of our own like habit. And when we were raised
yeah, you
to
can
think
change
of,
your habit.
yeah,
It was my
I know you
habit
can.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you understand that it's not just an overnight conversion of, looking at the bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and being like, oh, that was actually a living being. It takes some time for us to unfuck our minds and go, okay, hold on, take a step back and think. This was actually a once frolicking creature who wanted to find its own food and found things pleasing and displeasing, just like I do. And maybe it doesn't
Sure,
have
the
the same,
mindset
yeah,
shift might be a bit more gradual, but right now you realize that animals don't deserve to be exploited. That's
sure,
enough. That's
yeah,
enough of a basis to go off of.
right.
So, how many more animals should be exploited because of you from this point forward? Should it be
Right.
zero or should it be more than zero?
I think it should probably be zero.
Okay, so will you be vegan from now on?
Well, I can try. I should probably talk to my doctor and say what are the healthy ways that I could go about being vegan. Um,
Yeah, or just
as
look
long
it
as,
up. You have a
yeah.
phone. Like, you could do it overnight. Like, it's easier than you think it is.
Well, the
And
problem with looking things. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
no, you can go ahead, tell me your concerns.
Well, it's just that I know that there's such a um, broad pool of misinformation these days if you go look something up, quote unquote, right? And so, me looking something up, I might find some sort of Chad who's like, yeah, this is fine, this is totally legit, and I've got a YouTube channel with this many viewers. And so, but then that ends up being something that's not actually peer reviewed, that that I could put
Would you
much
like to
stock
be in
in.
contact with a plant-based dietitian? I can get you in contact with a plant-based dietitian for free
That that would
if
make
you would
me a
like.
lot more happy than just going out and searching, because then I'd have to be like, how qualified is the information that I'm getting?
Yeah, I can definitely do that for you, but I just like I want to ask something just out of curiosity. Like,
Sure.
do you know right now that your current diet is meeting all of your nutritional needs? Like, do you know if you have any deficiencies? Do you know if you are like uh, you know, getting everything that you need? Do you know that your diet is adequately planned right now, the diet you have currently?
To be honest, no.
Okay, so you have nothing to worry about, my dude. Like, like literally, you have nothing to worry about. Honestly, like just like everything in your fridge right now that's not vegan, you could just replace it with a plant-based thing. Like you have a thing of butter in your fridge. Next time you go
Right.
shopping, you get a plant-based thing of butter, replace it. You're not missing out on anything. Like you're gonna be totally fine. But I
Okay.
can still get you in contact with a plant-based dietitian if that will make you feel better. But like you've got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
As
that
long
makes
as
me
you're like
feel,
eating enough, yeah, and
yeah,
like eat a wide variety of foods. And I'm sure you're already eating lots of plant-based foods, like beans and
probably.
rice and grains and legumes and pasta and potatoes and like breads and
Mm.
fruits and veggies and nuts and seeds and whatever, you
Well, what if
know.
it's pasta that's made from eggs, right? So I need to eat pasta that's just based from like flour and water, right?
Yeah, which is most pasta. Like there's egg noodles in like
Yeah,
some Asian dishes, but most pasta is already vegan.
yeah. Okay. Well, I thank you for your time. Jutst, is that how you say your name? Hootst or Jutst?
Yeah, or Jade. Jade for Justice is the
Jade.
other account.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thank you for being kind, and I thank you for sharing, your knowledge with me, and letting me share my little story about that honeybee that I still feel bad about. So,
Yeah, yeah, of course. I feel like lots of us, like vegans, have a story like that, like making the connection, because we're not all just like raised vegan, we're raised exploiting animals. And, there's like a moment when we like make something clicks in the head. But let me tell you for the dietitian, challenge, the word challenge, and then the number 22.com. That like if you go and you sign up at challenge22.com, you should get an email by like tomorrow at the latest. And it's a group of like people that have been on plant-based diets for a long time. And like there's some experienced dietitians, like registered plant-based dietitians in the chat too. And yeah, it's just kind of like a support group for people that are feeling unsure about trying a plant-based diet and want some extra support.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, challenge22.com.
All right. Well, you have yourself a good day.
All right, you have a great vegan life, Solo. Nice guy. Okay, I'm gonna end the live and restart it really quick.